We just had a guy on here, and he was just saying that the first resurrection is during the 1,000-year period, and he just read the scripture out as well. But the scripture actually says in Revelation 20 verse 5, "But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished." Okay, so we don't get and no one's resurrected like during the 1,000 years. It says finished. When the 1,000 years were finished, not during the 1,000 years. So that's point number one. Point number two, he said it's not going to be on the earth. And it's a funny thing, right? You cannot comment on this guy's channel. And I like some of his stuff, but he's just read it. He just read that wrong. He totally did. Where are we going to be in the 1,000-year period, right? Right. Hang on, bear with me. Right. "And when the 1,000 years were expired, Satan will be loosed out of his prison, and he shall go out and deceive the nations, which are in the four quarters of the earth." So during the 1,000-year period, they're on the earth. I mean, they're going to go around and deceive them in the four quarters of the earth. Well, that's what it says here. It's biblical. That's in verse 8. So Gog and Magog. So that actually happens at the end of the 1,000-year period. "And when the 1,000 years have expired, Satan will be loosed out of his prison, and he shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth," planet Earth. "Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, to the number of whom is the sand of the sea." There you go. There is the answer. Everybody that's going to be chosen to live in the 1,000-year period is going to be on earth. That's the answer to the question. When Jesus said that people will be caught up in the clouds, that is to clear them out of this system if they're survivors. Okay, they'll be out of the way when the final vials are pulled out on the heathen, evil people. Okay, so he says the clouds. He didn't say heaven. He says they'll be caught up in the clouds. So they're going to be taken out of it in a certain area in wherever